Things were a little weird for Washington State after Mike Leach departed for the Mississippi State job. There were going to be no more crazy press conferences in Pullman about which Pac-12 mascot would win in a fight. Instead, it was the start of the Nick Rolovich era. Gone was the air raid, and in came the run and shoot offense. As we enter year 2, how will things go for the Cougars this year? Let's talk about that. As we come to the end of the month of July, we are now in Prime Preview Magazine season as college football season quickly approaches. Over the next 2 months, I will be previewing every college football team, yes, all 130. In this episode, I will be looking at Washington State. Last year, Washington State went 1-3, with their 3 losses coming to Oregon, USC, and Utah. This year, they returned 87% of their production from last year, which ranks 5th nationally. They returned 88% of their production on offense, which ranks 9th, and 86% of their production on defense, which ranks 13th. We enter year 2 of the Nick Rolovich era after he went 1-3 last year. He posted a 28-27 record at Hawaii. Hawaii was 11-39 the previous years before he ever got there. He did not have any spring ball last year, which made installing the run and shoot offense compared to the air raid a lot more difficult. Offensive coordinators Brian Smith and Craig Stutman came over from Hawaii, as they were offensive coordinators there from 2016 to 2019. Jack Dickert is the defensive coordinator. He was a linebacker and safety coach at Wyoming from 2017 to 2018 and defensive coordinator in 2019. They didn't have a lot of time to install the run and shoot offense like I mentioned earlier, and they had 3 games canceled last year, including the California game being canceled 90 minutes before kickoff. On offense, they returned 8 starters. For the first time since Luke Falk in 2017, the Cougars returned a starting quarterback. Jane DeLaura mastered the run and shoot offensive system, winning 2 state championships at Honolulu powerhouse St. Louis. He used his knowledge to win the job last year, becoming the first ever true freshman to start a season opener at Washington State University. He threw for 866 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, but was suspended this past spring. He will have to battle 4-star recruit Cameron Cooper, who had 99 yards last year, and they added Tennessee transfer Jarrett Garantano, who started over 30 games at Tennessee. They also have freshman Xavier Ward. At running back, Max Borghi rushed for 366 yards and had 374 receiving yards as a true freshman. The following year, he took a bulk of the rushing attempts with 817 yards, averaging 6.4 yards per carry. He set the Washington State University running back pass catching record with 86, averaging 6.9 yards per catch and 5 touchdowns. He missed all but 1 game last year though. Deion McIntosh rushed for 147 yards against Oregon State last year and finished with 323 yards, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. At wide receiver, they lose Jamin Calvin and Lucas Bacon. Renard Bell led the team in receptions with 33, having 337 receiving yards, averaging 10.2 yards per catch, and having 579 yards in 2019. Travell Harrell led in yards with 340, averaging 11.7 yards per catch. The Cougars will look to get the ball in his hands more this year. They also had Oklahoma State transfer CJ Moore. The offensive line opened holes for the running back, averaging 129 rushing yards per game and only allowed 9 sacks. They lose right guard Josh Watson. Abraham Lucas turned down the NFL last year and returns. He is one of the best tackles in the Pac-12. They returned 4 starters this year and combined for 68 career starts across the unit. On the defensive side of the ball, they returned 7 starters. It was an up and down season. They had 3 turnovers and led by 12 going to the half against Oregon, but let up a 57-yard touchdown reception right before half. On paper, they have all conference caliber players across the unit. On the defensive line, they need to build depth on the interior. They are stout on the edge with Brendan Jackson, Ron Stone Jr., and Willie Taylor III. Their only loss is defensive end Will Rogers. 6 defensive linemen return with prior starting experience, and they look to improve this year against the run. At linebacker, Jahad Woods, Justice Rogers, and Dylan Sherman got first-year reps 4 years ago when the Cougars were dealing with injuries. They now are 6th-year seniors and have played in a combined 114 games. They will play a big part on how the defense plays this year. When it comes to the defensive backs, former USC signee Jalen Watson was the top cornerback last year. He's 6'3" and weighs 198 pounds and has the physical attributes to be one of the best in pass coverage in the Pac-12. He missed the USC game last year. They returned 6 players who had at least 1 start and had Old Dominion transfer Caleb Ford Dement. According to Phil Steele, they play the 45th hardest schedule as Athlon projects them to go 5-7 and 3-6 in conference play. ESPN projects them to win 6.3 games and win 3.7 conference games. When it comes to my projection, I have them going 5-7 and 2-7 in conference. I see them beating Utah State and Portland State in weeks 1 and 2, but go on a 3-game losing streak to USC, at Utah, and at California before beating Oregon State at home. Then I see them losing to Stanford before beating BYU. Then I think they lose at Arizona State, who will be coming off their bye, going into their bye week. Coming out of their bye week, I see them losing at Oregon before beating Arizona, but finishing their season with a loss at Washington. I could see them beating Stanford to become bowl eligible, but in my projections, I have them losing to the Stanford Cardinals. But what do you think? Will Washington State make a bowl game this year? And how will they do? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos in the preview series. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.